So what we've been doing is we've been thinking about where did Jesus go in Holy Week? He went to Jerusalem. What happened there? And we've thought about all the different things that happened with Peter and with Judas and with Barabbas and all of those other things. But when you think about it, there's a much more significant question than where or what. The question is why. Why did Jesus go to Jerusalem? I wonder how you would answer that question. But we actually know how Jesus himself answered that question because he told the disciples. He said to them, Jesus took the disciples aside and told them, we're going up to Jerusalem, and everything that is written by the prophets about the Son of Man will be fulfilled, and he'll be handed over to the Gentiles, and they'll mock him and insult him and spit on him, and they will flog him and kill him, and on the third day he will rise again. And so Jesus was saying that he was going there for an incredible purpose. He was going there to fulfill the purpose of God. Nothing that happened in Jerusalem was going to be an accident or incidental. It had all been planned hundreds of years before. And he talks about the prophets. Now, we already gave you a difficult question about the prophets, didn't we? And what Psalm it was predicting that they would share Jesus' garments and cast lots. And there's lots of different prophecies, but there was one prophecy above all the others that was in Jesus' mind when he went to Jerusalem. And the Sunday after Easter, Stephen Pash is going to be talking about that particular prophecy, Isaiah 53. But as Jesus went to Jerusalem and he thought about what he was going to do, this is what he thought about. That he was going to Jerusalem to fulfill this prophecy. That he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we were healed. And so Jesus is telling us there that he's going to Jerusalem for a really specific purpose. He's going there to die a violent death. He's going to be pierced and crushed and experience a terrible punishment. But it's not simply going to be a tragedy, because remember that that happened to other people. There's going to be a great purpose behind it. And the great purpose is you. The great purpose is you. He went there to be pierced for your transgressions, punished for your sins, in order to bring you peace with God and to heal the sin, the sickness of sin within you. And so when we think about all the things that we've been talking about today, about where he went and what happened and why it happened, it all funnels right down to you. He did it for you. All of that incredible suffering, he did for you. And years later, one of the apostles was thinking about that. And he put it like this: for Christ also suffered for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God. That's it. That's Easter in a nutshell. Everything that happened that week happened to bring you to God. I wonder if you've come to God through Christ. Peter goes on and he says, for you know that it was not perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ. There's a story that Julius Caesar was once captured by some pirates and they wanted to ransom him. And so they were sending a letter back to Rome demanding money. And when Caesar was told how much money they wanted, he was outraged. He said it was too little. It was an insult. He said he was worth far more. And we kind of know that, don't we? That the more precious something is, the more that you'll give for it. How precious are you? How precious are you to Jesus? You're so precious to Jesus that he gave his blood, his life for you. There is nothing more that he could give. How precious are you to God the Father? So precious that he gave his one and only Son for you. And you see, as we enter into Holy Week, there are two things that we need to hold in tension in order to really understand what's happening. We need to think about the incredible suffering of Jesus and all that he went through, and that reminds us of the seriousness of our sin. But we hold that in tension with the fact, see what Nicky Gumbel says, your worth is what you are worth to God, and Jesus died for you, so you are of infinite value. Got to hold those two things together. Think about the suffering and all that Jesus went through for you, but also that reminder that you are so precious, so loved by God. And God the Father gave his one and only Son for you, and Christ gave his precious blood for you. And I want us to be reminded of that. And so what I've done is we've got a nail here, and we've adapted Isaiah 53. It says, "But he was pierced for my transgressions, and he was crushed for my iniquities." And in a moment, we're going to sing a hymn that talks about what Jesus has done for us. And if you know that this is true for you, that Easter was for you, I'm going to invite you to come to the table and collect one. And here's what I want you to do with it. I want you to keep it with you all week. And each time you look at it, I want you to think about the suffering of Jesus and his love for you. And when we gather on Good Friday, we're going to give you an opportunity to share maybe something that God has spoken to you about through that. And so we'll move the communion table up here. And in a moment, we're going to stand to sing, and whenever you feel ready, if you know that Easter was for you, and you want this Holy Week to be really meaningful, then I'd invite you to come and get a nail. Upstairs, we have some for you as well that will be handed round. If you're at home, sorry we're not quite ready to send nails through the internet. I'm sure it will come in the next 10 years. But we can certainly send you the text. So let's start.